Have you ever wondered how a nation can wage war against itself? Picture this, the United States mid-19th century, a country divided, the North and South, at odds over issues that cut to the heart of their societies. It's a puzzle that leads us to the American Civil War, a conflict of brother against brother, state against state. What were these issues, these dividing lines that could ignite such a conflict? Let's dive into the timeline of events to better understand how and why the American Civil War occurred. The first shot of the American Civil War was fired at Fort Sumter, South Carolina, on April 12, 1861. This marks the start of a bloody and divisive conflict, a culmination of years of political tensions and disputes over slavery. The spark that ignited this war? The election of President Abraham Lincoln, a known abolitionist. His victory stirred fears in the southern states, fears of a future where their peculiar institution of slavery might be abolished. This led to the secession of 7 southern states, who declared themselves a new nation, the Confederate States of America. The tension reached a boiling point at Fort Sumter. When the Union refused to surrender the fort to the Confederacy, the Confederates decided to take it by force, marking the start of the war. The Battle of Fort Sumter set the stage for the turbulent years that followed. The war was now underway, with battles raging across the country. From 1861 to 1865, the American landscape was a battleground. Let's set the stage and take a journey back to this tumultuous period, where every corner of the nation echoed with the clamor of conflict. In July of 1861, the first significant clash of the war, the Battle of Bull Run, took place. The Confederacy outmaneuvered the Union, giving the South an early victory and a surge of confidence. But this was just the beginning, and the war was far from decided. The Emancipation Proclamation, issued by President Abraham Lincoln in September of 1862, was a game changer. It declared that all enslaved people in the Confederate-held territory were to be set free. This shifted the war's narrative from a battle for unity to a crusade for freedom, galvanizing the North and attracting international support. The following year, the Battle of Gettysburg unfolded. Over 3 grueling days in July, the Union and Confederate forces clashed in what would become the war's bloodiest battle. The Union's victory here marked a turning point, halting the Confederacy's advance into the North and shifting the momentum of the war. Simultaneously, in the West, the siege of Vicksburg was underway. For 47 days, the Union forces laid siege to the city, cutting off supplies and reinforcements. The Confederate surrender on July 4, 1863, gave the Union control of the Mississippi River, effectively splitting the Confederacy in two. These pivotal events painted a vivid picture of the war's course, highlighting the strategies used by both sides and the changing tides of the conflict. From the South's early victories and the North's strategic patience, to the transformative impact of the Emancipation Proclamation and the tactical victories at Gettysburg and Vicksburg, the war was a complex chess game played on a national scale. By 1865, the Confederacy was on its last legs. Their resources were depleted, their morale was low, and their cause was losing traction. The end, though still a year away, was in sight. The course of the American Civil War was a testament to the power of strategy, resilience, and the unyielding pursuit of freedom. On April 9, 1865, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse, effectively ending the American Civil War. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in the nation's history. In the immediate aftermath, the nation was shocked by the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln just 5 days after the surrender. Lincoln, a beacon of hope and unity, was suddenly gone, leaving the country in a state of uncertainty and grief. The end of the war also ushered in the Reconstruction era, a period of rebuilding and reform. The southern states were readmitted into the Union, and constitutional amendments were passed to abolish slavery, grant equal protection under the law, and safeguard the voting rights of African Americans. The cost of the war was immense, with over 600,000 lives lost. Yet from this devastation arose significant societal changes, including the abolition of slavery and the extension of civil rights. The American Civil War was a pivotal moment in our nation's history, shaping the country we know today. So, what have we learned about the American Civil War? We've journeyed through the causes that ignited this devastating conflict. We've explored the major battles, the turning points that cast long shadows over the course of the war. We've seen the end, a bitter-sweet victory that led to an aftermath of reconstruction and redefinition. The American Civil War, a tragic yet transformative period, continues to influence our society and our understanding of freedom, equality, and nationhood.